So back in building the Rams for the first time in Lord knows how long. We are ready to go in 2027, but we're going to take a look at the roster, of course, first. I don't remember when we did this past offseason where we really left off, because I think our plan was to let Matthew Stafford go, but then in terms of free agency, he was still sitting in there. I really would have thought that he would have signed somewhere else, but no, he has not. So he is now going to back up Nico Iamaleava in his first year as starter, and we did retain Cam Rising on the team. Not really sure why. He's certainly not growing, and probably after this season, he's going to be the oldest quarterback on this team, if he does remain. Not much change at running back. We did add Tank Bigsby as our third guy. Just a little bit more of an insurance policy over Phil Maffa, who we are still committed to long-term as a potential second or third back, depending on how things go. Max Bredesen back at fullback. I don't remember, again, it's been so long that I don't really remember where we left off, but this is our receiver core, Nakua, Watson, and Sturdivant. They are back again. And I want to say Deebo Samuel, this might be his first year. Let's see if we can go to the player card on this team and kind of get our bearings back a little bit. And yes, it is. So good deal. We did bring back Olamide Zaccheaus, and Arian Smith still here is our kick returner as well. Tight ends, unchanged, I believe. Colston Loveland's still our lead guy. Isaiah Likely, Noah Gray backing him up. We did pick up Ronnie Stanley in the offseason, which is pretty big. We drafted Will Pierce out of Michigan State, supposedly. I don't know what it was with that draft class that we used last time, but this guy was like a projected top 5 pick or something like that. He was projected first round at the very least, and he's not a real player. So, little bit of continuity loss there, because, I don't know, that was just a bad draft class. But this one we have this year is actually very good. They're all real players. Pat says move. Of course he does. Left guard remains Jonah Jackson. Ben Cleveland backing him up. Steve Avila. And Olu Oluwatimi, who I kind of forgot made it to the NFL. Phenomenal Michigan center from a couple years back. Kevin Dotson, Cody Mauch, outright guard. And Spencer Brown is our right tackle, at least for the time being, but he's injured for the moment. So Colton McKivitz, at least going to start week 1. Kobe Turner, Cam Sample on the left side of the defensive line. Chase Young and Isaiah McGuire on the right. And then in the middle, we did finally move Braden Fisk. Once again, I don't really remember when this happened. But we did move Braden Fisk to defensive tackle. It just made all the sense in the world. And really let Kobe Turner take over that position, hopefully for the next 3-4 years, somewhere in there. And we don't have to worry about that until we also have to worry about Chase Young, potentially. Although Chase's decline shouldn't be as steep. Tyler Davis is the second defensive tackle on this team. And then we drafted Lee Hunter 2 seasons ago. He is the third defensive tackle. Jared Verse still on this team, still only 26. There's a lot of players on this team that are just like deceptively young. And Chase Young is even still one of those players, only 28 years old. You feel like he's been around forever. Harold Perkins, 23-year-old middle linebacker, 90 overall. We drafted Cedric Boyce, not really sure why. Dallas Turner, trade target of, I believe, last season at the right outside linebacker spot with Byron Young right in behind him, and Ernest Hausman, a draft pick from a couple years ago. Diamador Lenore and Kamari Lassiter. I don't really remember. This is the problem when we do take like a month break in between doing this franchise. Reminder, this is only season 4. Last year we did like 5 rebuilds by the time the Super Bowl had ended, and here we are. This is our first one. Now, granted, this is take 2 of building the Rams. The first one got bugged out due to a bad draft class. But Kamari Lassiter will pair up well with Lenore for corners. Mekhi Blackman, Darian Kendrick, Andrew Booth, the other corners on the team. We're still holding on to the veteran, Tyrann Mathieu, 35 years old, 81 overall. He's still quite playable. Now, the decline is going to be steep here over the next couple years. But Cameron Kinch is his backup, and Cam Curl's still 28 years old, Sidney Brown right in behind him. And then we have Joshua Carty and Brett Thorson back for another year at special teams. So anyway, time to simulate week 1. There's really not a lot of moves I can see us making this season, so it's really all just about simulating the games. Maybe sneak into the playoffs. I think the defense could get us there. And re-sign the players that we want to. That's pretty much all we're doing here today. All right, not a good start to 2027. We lose to the Bears, but the Bears should be about hitting their prime right now, so I guess that's not entirely unforeseen. Still not time to re-sign players, so we're just going to go out and simulate week 2 against the Browns, who won week 1. All right, loss again, but a closer loss. Rams are off to an 0-2 start. And now we match up with a Ravens team, and I think we actually match up quite well. However, I do expect to lose to Baltimore. But contract negotiations are open, so we're going to go head in there. What's the damage? Jared Verse, Dallas Turner. Those would be 2 huge losses. We only have $85 million in cap space. I'm seeing a lot of players that I want to keep. So this could get to be a really, really ugly offseason if we don't do this correctly. Get these ones that we don't need to re-sign out of the way, like Matthew Stafford, Tyrann Mathieu, 31-year-old Colton McKivitz. He's probably going to be sitting in free agency at the start of next season anyway. Not worried. Zacchaeus, I like Olamide on this team a lot, but we don't really need him. I mean, he's our 4th, 5th wide receiver, whatever the hell he is. Backup offensive line, I'm really just not too worried about it. So it's just starters primarily that we want to take care of. But even that's going to be hard. Like, let's go and try and lock up Jared Verse right now. I feel like that is the most important one. He doesn't necessarily want to come back. Let's just throw a neutral offer at him, see if he accepts it. And he does. Now, that's good, because if we had to overspend for Verse, it really could have gotten ugly. So Dallas Turner, same thing. He does have a little bit more interest, but these 2 players are already going to get us down to $46 million in cap space. Now, the good news is we do get both of those players back. Kamari Lassiter, how bad's this going to bone us? Actually, not bad. That's a pretty cheap deal for us. Glad to re-sign him. None of these players have given us fits yet. Blake Corum, still only 26. We want him back. He's on board too. This is a big surprise. Braden Fisk. That's going to dig into the cap space a little bit more. Let's take a look and see. Tyler Davis, not worried about re-signing him. Or maybe we should be. Maybe we should be. We really should re-sign Tyler Davis before Braden Fisk. He is a year younger. Star development. He's only 1 overall worse than Fisk. He doesn't necessarily want to be back here, though. Andrew Booth, I'm not worried about. Cameron Kinchins, we should be able to get for cheap. He's back. Good deal. Before we forget, because for whatever reason this gets buried all the way back at the back end of the player re-sign screen, let's go get our kicker, Joshua Carty. The kicker. The kicker's the one that's going to give us fits. Okay, well, we'll have to move on from that. And then next year doesn't get any easier because we do have to re-sign Harold Perkins, which I would imagine is going to be expensive, and Colston Loveland, a couple of first-round draft picks, I do believe, of the Rams in year 1. So then right now, let's take Tyler Davis. That takes us down to $11.6 million in cap. We're going to have to free up some cap space. There's just not a way around it. But that... I would like to get Fisk locked up now, though. Let's go see if there's any obvious players that we need to cut that just don't make sense to be on this team that maybe frees up the cap space to allow us to do that. So it looks like we'd have to cut either Cam Sample or Isaiah McGuire to even kind of get back into the territory where we could re-sign Braden Fisk right now. I don't know. It's pretty ugly. We could cut Tank Bigsby. That's just a luxury kind of player. He's the 3rd running back on the team. That'd save us $2.75. Ben Cleveland at left guard. I only keep 2 offensive linemen at every position, so is he expendable? Yes. Do I want to get rid of him? No, just in case something goes wrong. So I'm thinking we let Fisk go for the moment and come back to that. Because everybody else, I mean, there are some players I would like to keep in here. Ronnie Stanley's a bit on the older side. He's going to regress in the offseason as well. But there's some solid young depth players sitting in here right now. A little unfortunate, but we'll just see how it goes as the season goes on. But it is time to simulate Week 3 against the Ravens. I'm predicting 0-3. Yeah, it's going that way. 26-21, though. So, again, we're not far off the Niners. Off to a 1-2 start. But we're going to go into contract negotiations first and see what we can do. Let's go take care of Cardi. And he's really not thinking he wants to come back. So we'll drop him a player-friendly offer. It's still relatively cheap. I think he's gonna come back eventually, but if we go over to Braden Fisk now, I don't think we have the money to do this. We do not. We would have to free up just about $2 million to be right at the cap. That one's going to be an interesting one, and we're going to have to probably hope that we can re-sign him just the one offer we're going to get at the end of this season. Otherwise, Braden Fisk is probably going to walk. But we did get the defensive tackle that we prioritized, so it's not terrible, but we would have a little bit of a hole heading into 2028. Well, anyway, one new injury. Who's this? Braden Fisk. Okay, bad news all over 2027 when it comes to Braden Fisk. He's out 5 weeks. Crap. Anyway, onward in our season sim. We play the 49ers. They started off 1-2. Can the Rams get their first win? Yes, we can. By a point over our division rival. So now it's week 5. Now we got the Seattle Seahawks. And we're going to go back in and see if we can't lock up Joshua Cardi with another offer. In fact, I'm just going to offer him the same damn thing that I offered him last time. Do not make me franchise tag a kicker. Bang. All right, Cardi's back. So that's good news. However, Braden Fisk, he's going to have to wait. So now it is week 5. We're pretty much done with contract negotiations until the offseason. And if we can start getting on a roll in the division, the season's not lost yet. 1-3 is a pretty terrible start, but hey, we can get hot. Never know. That's what I'm talking about. 3-1-7 win over Seattle to improve to 2-3. And we actually got some weekly awards this time around. So, and it's Nico. 23-35, 257 yards, 4 touchdowns. Got sacked twice. Good stuff out of our first-year starter. Hope he can continue to build upon that. Week 6, the Titans. They are 1-4. It'd be a good win to get back to 500, especially with 2 divisional wins already on our season. Don't let the Rams get hot, I guess. We're back to 500. We do play the Seattle Seahawks for the second time in 3 weeks now. Could be a big one. Now we're at Lumen Field. Now, Seattle doesn't look very good. They're 2-4, and at least overall-wise, our team is better in every single way. So let's hope we can just do it again. Ooh, no. Back under 500. 17-14 loss to the Seahawks. And now we hope that Week 8 against the 49ers is not a similar result. A team we beat earlier in the season in the division, but now we're on the road. Going into our bye week at 500, I feel like we can make things happen. We go 2 games below. It could get real ugly. All right, so we sweep the Niners again. I'll tell you what. 4 years into this franchise, we have owned the Niners, which is a big shock to me. I mean, they're the best team in our division when you start out. And you got to wonder if maybe trading them Cooper Kupp kind of screwed them up. We actually lead the NFC West at 4-4. This division's ass. We've got the Commanders coming up after our bye. Kind of forgot we were on a bye week already. Seahawks lost again. They're under 500. Week 10 against the Washington Commanders. Is there a good team on our schedule this year? Commanders are 3-5. And once again, we have a better overall in every single way. So, here we go. See if we can beat Jaden Daniels. Tell you what, when this team wins, it's pretty convincing. More often than not, 35-17 win over the Commanders to get to 5-4. Now, Seattle did win. They're back to 500 at 5-5. This is a wild, wild season. The Minnesota Vikings are 2-7 despite an 89 overall offense. Not sure what the hell's going wrong in Minnesota, but this could be a big win for us if we can get it. Yeah, I kind of expected a close game. 37-31 win over Minnesota. Rams improved to 6-4. Still, of course, leading the NFC West. The Seahawks have lost again. They are 5-6. And now our first divisional matchup with the Cardinals on Monday Night Football, who are also terrible. They're 3-7. Weekly awards, was it Nico again? No, this time it was Harold Perkins, the middle linebacker. 8 tackles and a pick for our stud. Outstanding. All right, well, I mean, our division is weak, but that's going to happen sometimes. You got to take advantage of it when it does. Got to beat Arizona, though. We got another matchup coming up with them at some point in the season, probably week 18. So just pound through it. 7-4 would be real nice. Actually, before we do that, we have a linebacker breakout. Good Lord. Harold Perkins breakout, potentially. Why couldn't that have happened a week ago when he won Player of the Week? That's ridiculous. So, he just came off a game in which he had 8 tackles and an interception. The goal would be 7 and at least a sack, interception, or a forced fumble. I think he can do that. That doesn't seem unrealistic, so we're just going to commit right to that. All right, so now we simulate Monday Night Football in Week 12. Rams and Cardinals. Once again, 7-4 would be real nice. Win again, and once again, it's convincing. It's Week 13, which means we get our first look at the playoff picture. We're definitely not the 1 seed. In fact, we are the worst of the current division leaders. And the Seattle Seahawks, surprisingly, are a playoff team at the moment as the 7 seed. Time to see if we got the Harold Perkins breakout. I'm accustomed to not getting them, but Madden 25 has kind of changed that. Oh, not so much when it comes to Harold Perkins. Good job leading the defense to some good things. See, this is where this game is different from a year ago, because he might get it anyway. Let's see. Even though we didn't get the goal, they're just handing... Oh, he just earns XP. Okay. Nah, can't get lucky every time. All right, Week 13 against the Green Bay Packers. This is the first team above 500 that we've seen on our schedule in a while. So is the Rams season at 7-4 a little bit of a fraudulent 7-4? Guess time to find out. Green Bay, though, might be a fraudulent 6-5. So I don't know. We'll see. Wins would be nice. Winning again. Rams are 8-4, and our new prime might be coming a little sooner than I thought it would. Now, there's still a little bit of the season to go. We go take a look at the division. We've got a comfortable lead over the Seahawks. Split that season series. So, I mean, things are looking good. Now, we do face a really good Bengals team here. That could be a little unfortunate, but we are at home on Thursday night. Beat Cincinnati, I mean, you're almost looking... Unless you'd almost have to lose out to not make the playoffs, and even then, you still might make it. Do we beat the Bengals, too? This season has really come as a surprise to me. I did not think that Nico would be ready to lead a team to the playoffs in his first year starting, but it appears that either he is or the defense that has somehow gotten 2 overall worse throughout the course of the season has. So, Week 15, we've got the Cardinals. They're 4-9, looking to sweep them, which means who do we play Week 18? We already played the Niners and Seahawks twice. I guess it's just not divisional, but Cardinals are pretty dookie. Why you bad? Surprisingly, we're not. So the Cardinals beaten by the Rams for the second time this season, which means we are 10-4. Means we should probably look at the playoff picture again. And in the span of 2 weeks, we've gone from the 4 seed to the 2. So This current winning streak is doing wonders for us. And also weekly awards before we play the Steelers. Puka Nacua. Oh, 9 catches, 234 yards, 4 touchdowns. And former Ram, Tre'Davious White, won NFC Defensive Player of the Week. What a game for Puka. All right, so the Steelers in Week 16. Steelers are 7-7. They still got a really good defense because, of course, they do. It's Pittsburgh. And now we finally do get to see the rest of our schedule. 17 against the Lions, Week 18 against the Falcons. Even if we lose those games, I'm not really sure. In terms of the division, it doesn't look like it's going to matter at all. In fact, we have already clinched the division at 10-4. So we will be going to the playoffs and will have a home game. So really now, it's just all trying to get higher seeding, trying to get that 1 seed, get a first-round bye. So beating a Steelers team that just can't really get consistency, possible. Low-scoring game, but that's kind of what you expect. 2 really good defenses here with the Rams and the Steelers. The Lions are 8-7, and they are still a buzzsaw here in 2027. An 89 offense, 87 defense. How is this team not running the league? I do not get it. We continue to eke out wins. 1 by 3 in our last game. 1 by 1 in Week 17 to go to 12-4. And we'll take a look at the playoff picture here again. It is still the Eagles. So how good are the Philadelphia Eagles? 13-3. So we need the Eagles to lose, and we need to win, of course, and then win a tiebreaker to potentially earn the NFC's #1 seed. Otherwise, we will be playing Wild Card Weekend. Week 18 against the Falcons. For whatever reason, again, 89 offense, 85 defense, but yet they're booty cheeks, 5-11. We want that 1 seed, or at least a chance at the 1 seed, so we're not taking the starters out. See if we can get to 13-4. So a 26-21 loss in Week 18 to the Falcons means that we are the NFC's 2 seed. Not going to have a chance at the 1, unfortunately, and we play the Lions Wild Card Weekend. That's going to be a tough team to face. I want to say when we played them in the playoffs before, probably year 1, I think we lost, and I don't know, but this season has really been much better than I would have expected. I just didn't think this team was ready quite yet. I mean, I don't really know why. I thought the offense was going to take a little bit longer to kind of build up, but apparently not. We have a home playoff game against the Detroit Lions.